Hey, Anisha. Hey. We didn't announce the room this morning, so I don't think we're going to be in here that long. I am working on something and actually forgot about it, but we are going to do our affirmations on this morning. I don't know if Brian's going to be able to come in or not, but we are going to do our affirmations. Let's give it a second and then we'll at least see those, Anisha. All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started on today. This is Business Strategies Made Simple, tax season 2024, limited belief system blockages. I think we're going to change the name of what we're doing. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started on our financial affirmations. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Tavis Taylor. I am a business strategist. I'm a mindset coach. I help you to navigate into this online space. If you want to be a life coach, if you want to have an online business, memberships, all of that, I can help you navigate through that, taking your idea out of your head and into literally a full thriving business. So I am your girl for that. But let's do this. I'm going to walk my dog as we are going to navigate through this space. But let's do our money affirmations. If you're ready for the money affirmation, put a 5 in the comment section if you are ready. Hey, Suze, for money affirmations. Let me see those fives. All right. Let's get started. Our first affirmation: I am blessed with abundance because I trust in the Lord. I am blessed with abundance because I trust in the Lord. I'm a good steward of my finances, managing them wisely and faithfully. I am a good steward of my finances, managing them wisely and faithfully. Oh, I love these affirmations. I think we need to come in every Tuesday, if not just for the affirmations. Our next affirmation is: I am prosperous and successful in all that I do. I am prosperous and successful in all that I do. I am prosperous and successful in all that I do. Our next one: I am content with what I have. I am diligent. Hold on 1 second. I am diligent in my work, and my efforts lead to prosperity. I am diligent in my work, and my effort leads to prosperity. Oh, I like this one. I'm a lender, not a borrower, and I am financially secure. I am a lender, not a borrower, and I am financially secure. I'm financially wise, seeking counsel and making informed decisions. I am financially wise, seeking counsel and making informed decisions. I am blessed to be a blessing to others, sharing my abundance. I am blessed to be a blessing to others, sharing my abundance. And those are our affirmations, money affirmations for today. My millionaire mentor has stepped into the room. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I am well. I am well. I am here. I am present. I am living. I am abundant.
Yes, Brian. I tell him we were not going to be in here that long on today. Hey, Brian, I was thinking about our segment being called Money, Mindset, and oh, what was the other M? It was 3M. Money, Mindset, not marriage. No. Money, Mindset,
Oh,
uh, Money, Mindset. What was the third M? Some have us a new flyer done. Money, Mindset. I'll get the third M to you, but it was three of them. Marketplace. Money, Mindset, and Marketplace.
well, and it could even be mastery
Okay, okay, okay. I like that. Ooh, money, mindset, and mastery.
because the
That's
way
good.
the way you achieve greatness and success is through mastery. Like and that's the thing is that's why most people only get average results because they don't master nothing. And if you think about all the people that master what they do, they basically get longevity in the game. They get paid the most. So mastery is extremely important, in
Oh, this is
understanding
good.
longevity and fulfilling your greatness. Like anybody that's considered great, they mastered their craft.
That's good. That is really good, Brian. Um, huh, that's good. Money, mindset, and mastery. Learning how to master your craft. That's a great conversation for us to continue with, Brian, because if I'm transparent, I was thinking about some of the stuff that I do and how a lot of the stuff that I do, they marry each other. Um, I mean, I have a lot of different pieces, but they all marry each other, right? I love single moms and I love teaching single moms and married moms how to create lucrative income. In addition to that, though, one of my babies has always been helping moms and others create another stream of income through coaching and consulting so that they won't be I used to like to say, so they won't be pimped for their gifts. And so mastering, whatever craft you is, taking that craft you're in, taking that craft and being able to create a lucrative income by mastering that craft and sticking with that one thing, Brian. So yeah, I'm in the middle of rebranding and doing some stuff. And this is really, really one of the areas that I try to hone in on with people, whatever their passion is, giving them tools and tips for their passion.
Yeah, and see the beautiful thing of mastery, Dr. Tab, is the fact that you can dictate whatever you want. You can dictate your time, you can dictate your money, because what happens is when you become a master of something, you become in demand. And when you become in demand, you have leverage. And leverage allows you to dictate your time and everything because people now plays on your terms. So when you're trying to get from somebody, you got to wait on them. You got to deal with what they do. They have leverage. But this is what mastery does, because when you master something, people want to deal with people who are great at what they do. If I am great at what I do and I separate myself from everybody else, people who want to utilize my skills and my services and my talents have to basically play by my rules. And
Oh,
that's
this is
why mastery
good.
is so good in the sense of it allows you to start freeing up your time, because you may say, well, you know what? I don't have to work on Thursdays if I don't want to. My kid plays games on Thursdays. And now people say, well, what's your next available day? They'll succumb to that. And not in a negative way, but but once you master something, usually you paid your dues. And if you paid your dues, then you basically deserve the right to now dictate a situation where you can make it a win-win. And so that's why mastery is so important, man, when you start getting up there. Because you think about doctors, like when people talk about a doctor that's really, really good, and that doctor say, well, I won't be in, until next week. Well, what's your available day? They ain't fussing that they ain't gonna be in next week. They trying to figure out how can I work around your schedule because I really want to see you. And that's almost with everything. That's even in my industry. That's with me. because I am basically one of the leaders in my industry. People are going to work with my schedule. And as long as you don't abuse it, it'll continue forever. Does that make
Oh
sense?
wow, Brian. It does. Brian, that was so good. Anisha, I pulled you up. I'm grateful that you could come up, but I pulled you up because I want to hear. I, this is so good. Wait, I got to take a step back because when I think about what Brian said about mastery, and they talk about the number of hours you should have in a craft before you consider yourself an expert. And I'm thinking about all the hours that I've spent coaching people, all the hours you spent nursing and where you are, and all the hours Brian has spent um, in his industry as well. I hope that for those, and I think I do, I coach in some form everybody in the room almost. I hope that this conversation is kind of making you think, wait a second, I'm a master at this. And being comfortable, which means we got to shift those limited beliefs, but being comfortable with saying, I've mastered this and I am the expert in it. And here is why you got to do it. Because y'all know good and time well, there are some people out there claiming to be masters who are not. There are people out there who are operating in lanes, and we're not putting them down. But what I want us to understand is if we're going to own our genius, now is the time to own it. I know how to coach people into the next space in their business and with their ideas. I'm good at that. I've been doing it for a lot of years. So good at that. Now I have the mindset piece that can help stop the blockages, right? We did a class, was it last week, on the inner critic, which tearing those things off is what helped people be able to get to that mastery level. Anisha, I want to hear from you.
Good morning, Dr. Tavis and Brian. This is a good conversation. And as you were sharing, Brian, the one thing that I heard, I don't know if you said it exactly this way, but I heard playing on my terms. And so, as Dr. Tavis said, when you are a master at what you do, you've put in the time, you put in the work, you're able to show up more confident, knowing that, okay, I can get the results that I promised. I can give you what it is that I say I can give you and a little bit more extra because I put in the work, I put in the time, and not so much of um, uh, not leveling yourself down, but putting your or moving yourself into a place that people see you at, but knowing your worth and knowing, what you're able to deliver. And so I love that what you said, Brian, about playing on your own terms, knowing the gift that I have, knowing what I can produce for you, and saying, this is what I have to offer. And you love it, like it, lump it or not. So this is good. This is good, good, good. This I just want to share that this Tuesday room, a lot of times I see the title as taxes and tax season, but it's so much more than that. Brian, you share a lot about, some mindset things and in regards to money, and the confessions you did, Dr. Towers, at the very beginning of the room was really, really good. So thank you so much for just you guys sharing and your pour that you constantly give. And I yield there.
Thank you so much, Anisha. I think I'm going to change the topic as we're speaking now. Brian suggested money, my just one thing. There's so many twigs and so many branches that come from money, mindset, and mastering. There's so many different components and so many different conversations that we can have as it pertains to that. I hope y'all can hear me. I walked in the door and I got okay, I think y'all can hear me now. But there are so many different things that we can, so many directions, Brian, we can, as coaches and consultants in the things that we do. Let's continue this conversation. Thank you so much, Anisha. Chime in as you wish. And if there's anybody in the audience that want to come up and join into this conversation on money, mindset, and mastery, um, please feel free to do so. Brian, I yield to you. How did you get in the audience, Brian? Were you trying to unmute? Come on back up, Brian. Come on back up. Well, let me go ahead and reset the room. This is Business Strategies Made Simple, where I get to have this space with my millionaire mentor, um, Brian Jubert. This is Business Strategies Made Simple, and our topics are money, mindset, and mastery. And we believe that you can master your craft and become the expert. Go ahead, Brian.
No, but you said something, Dr. Tavis, that we all been hearing for years. And so what I'm saying is nothing new. It's nothing different. When you talked about how experts always said you need to have 10,000 hours of what you do to become an expert. And so this has been around for a while. Like people been talking about this. And this is why I say listening to motivational stuff, listening to people before you, listen to people in your industry that succeeded, that need to be and want to be and are where you want to be. This is why that's so important because they've talked about, how many hours you need to put in and how much you need to do, and so this stuff works, man. That's the thing about it. Success leaves trails. Success leaves trails. And all we have to do is follow those trails. Because one of the things I did was I basically, all the people I followed, I kind of emulated what they did because they had already set the foundation. And I tweaked it a little bit. I listened to a lot of what Les Brown talked about, and so in the beginning, man, I'm listening to these people and I'm reading the books and I'm like, wow, they already doing this. Why am I trying to do something totally different? If you're trying to do something totally different, that's ego. That's ego. Why? Why are we trying to do that, man? Like make it so convenient to the point. Just like we talk about how we try to make it easier for our kids, we've created a lifestyle where our kids don't have to struggle. That's the same with the people before you have done. So all you have to do is do the blueprint that they doing and tweak it a little bit. Like with you don't have to, like they always say, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You could create the whole concept of the wheel, but your thread might just be in a different direction, a different pattern. But the concept of it there is already. So we really have to dive in, man, and really be intentional about winning because we can separate ourselves. I finally, Dr. Taylor, I was like, all right, I got to get back on my Spanish. I got to get back on my Spanish. And now what I've done, I pretty much shut everything out now, and all my TVs is on YouTube. That I pretty much I come from the bedroom to the kitchen, to the bathroom, everywhere I may have TVs. I got it now on YouTube stuff, and now I'm listening to Spanish all the time now. I'm like, all right, know what? Netflix gonna be there. That stuff is saved. All that stuff is gonna be there. Sports Center's gonna be there. If I really want to master and get back on Spanish and learn it and become fluent, I gotta immerse myself in it. All that other stuff is entertainment. That's entertainment. I can come back to that. And so I'm like, bruh, you gotta put in hours, you gotta put in time, you gotta put in consistency if you really want to do this. And that's what I've been doing now. That's what I've been doing. If you really want to win, man, you gotta master something. In order to master it, you gotta immerse yourself in it. You gotta let a lot of stuff go, a lot of people go. And if you look back at your day and the things that you're probably doing, you're probably wasting an hour or two that you can take that time to master what you need to do. If anybody on here can tell me they don't have 30 minutes out of a day, and when I say 30 minutes, it might be for 15 minutes you waste time on something that you could have been doing it. And people don't think about this, but one of the things I do to master anything that I listen to, I deal with. Like I don't care if it's 2 minutes. I tell you, if I'm listening to one of my audio books and I got 2 minutes while I'm brushing my teeth or shaving, I'll put it on. If I'm studying my Spanish, if I'm brushing my teeth for 2 minutes, I'll put it on. And we discount that. We discount that. So if you're doing something, you're idle, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, do it for 5 times a day. And you put in 25 minutes now. But see, we want to go from 0 to 100. Well, I want to put 30 minutes in a day. But you don't have an extra 30 minutes that you can do consistently because you're constantly moving. You're constantly moving. But why not put in 5 minutes 6 times a day? And what happens is that motivates you because you start to get the results. Then you start to make the sacrifices. Then it becomes habit. Habit becomes change. Change becomes progression. Progression becomes success. And now you've achieved your goal, not going from 0 to 10. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, Brian, absolutely. I am studying. One of the things I'm doing now is I am getting my coaching certification from a ICF certified school because I think it takes about 3 to 4 years for my school to become accredited by them. But I'm building for the future. And so my goal is by the end of March to just really, because it's a lot of work and a lot of hours, but to really hone in to that 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, to really focus on that particular goal. So um, this is great conversation for me. Lest I get discouraged saying, okay, but understanding that I truly am building for the future. So thank you so very much for that because I will have an accredited ICF accredited Black owned certified like Christian certified life coaching school. That is what I desire in the next 5 years, and that's how long it takes to get that certification. I'll have the school in place before then, but it's me mastering hours of listening to over and over and over. Because I'll be honest with you, Brian, I have to go in, and this is something that others are going to have to do, right? When you're listening to the experts, sometimes you have to go in and unlearn some of the things that you were taught because either they're outdated or they were just not right in the first place. A lot of times things are really just outdated. And I tell people that come and coach with me that have coached with other coaches, I said that coach got you to where they could. And now it's time for you, to work with me. But each level gets you to a place. And so if we are going to master that, that is just one thing, Brian, that I know to be true, that I am going to, by the end of the month, have my coaching certification and some other goals that I have, but it's requiring me to listen and to be in tune with things that I normally wouldn't, that I've got to be super focused, like super, super focused in what God has called me to be. So called me to do. So yeah, it's definitely doable and it's a lot. I want to know in the chat box though, Brian, what is because let me do it this way. Because if I do it this way, then I think you can put answers in there quicker. What are 3 areas that you think you're supposed to master? Because you're going to have to niche it down to one area. But what are 3 areas you think you are supposed to master? The reason why I'm asking you to put it in the chat box because we're going to hold you accountable. And like I said, I coach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I coach well over 90% of the room. What are 3 areas or even one area that you say, okay, this is an area that I'm going to master? What area are you going to master? Let me see what y'all put in the chat box. I'm waiting.
Dr. Tavis, can I chime in
Coaching,
right here real
okay.
quick?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Brian, you said something that was so good and it kind of jumped out at me when you mentioned, when you get 2 minutes here, when you get 5 minutes here, the quote came to me that proper planning prevents poor performance. And so I think sometimes people think, oh, I need an hour here, or I gotta have 2 hours here, or I gotta have a 3 hour time span, and not negating that, you know what, I got 10 minutes. Let me take this 10 minutes and while I'm doing, like you said, brushing your teeth or shaving your hair or riding in the car on the way home from work or riding to work or wherever it is you're doing, that 10 minutes that we spend on the phone having conversations with people who aren't pushing us to the next level and moving us forward in our lives or whatever it is that we're doing, take those 10 minutes, and you said it. I mean, 3 10-minute blocks in a day is 30 minutes that you've mastered your craft or added to the mastery of whatever it is that you want to do. But then we say we don't have enough time for it. One thing I've realized and learned is that people make time for what they really want to make time for. So when we say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. I got this, I got that, and the other. It's like almost how bad is your want to? And so if your want to is bad enough, then what you're doing, you'll make the time to find those 10-minute blocks or those 5-minute blocks to be a mastery at your skill. And I'm going to pause there.
And you know what's so good about that, Anisha, is I think so. Everything for me is the brain, right? And his mindset. All roads lead back to Jesus and mindset for me, right? And so one of the things when you were speaking, all I could think of was when Brian said 2 minutes, that freed up 50% of the room. When Brian said 2 minutes, that freed up 50% of the room. And I'll tell you why, Brian, because we feel like we have to do stuff at one time. Let me sit down. Let me do this. Let me work on this right now. Let me do this. Let me do that. It almost makes it relieves our overachieving, the overachievers part of our brains, and to say, hey, if you listen to 7 minutes of something, in bite-sized chunks, then and if we listen to if we listen to 7 minutes of something and just bit by bit work on it, eventually it's going to happen. And most of us have more degrees than a thermometer. That's how we went to college. We did this, then we did that, and then we did that, and then they told us we have to take this class. Somewhere along the way, though, we dive into I need to be successful and achieve everything I need to achieve like yesterday. That is not the goal. That is not the answer. So your homework assignment is going to be, what is it? Pick one thing, one area. Let me see the areas y'all put in here first, Brian. We got to look at these. Charmin said coaching. Nichelle said time management. Nadine said senior living. I'm going to master posting using social media. Master applying for grants and funding for businesses. Pick one business. Exercise and taxes, studying God's word, financial services, teaching and counseling. Makita said, yes, it did. I'm thinking you're talking about that when Brian said the 2 minutes, that it kind of relieved you. What this is going to require, though, is us to stop talking so much, because we got people we talk to on the way to work, the people we talk to here, the people we talk to there, the people we talk to here. No, you got to limit your conversations. How many of you, if you were honest, let's just be transparent, because, I'm the transparent mom in the parenting world. How many of you got people now that you can think of, I talk to them way too much, and let's do a heart, because we still gonna love them, that I talk to them way too much, and I need to be, that is time that I can be putting into XYZ 1, 2, 3. Absolutely. So I want to challenge us to on next week to have, number one, picked an area that we're going to master. This may mean you may master getting organized for next week, to say what you're going to do. I found myself to be less productive the less focused I am. I will tell you that it affects my bottom line. It affects everything that I have going on. I have an assistant now, and I'm getting ready to have partners with what I do so that they can help take some of the load off of me. Um, and so that's something that I'm going to master in this upcoming week. But for our homework assignment, what are you going to master? What is something you're going to work towards, and then dedicate, do it week by week. This week I'm going to spend from 10 o'clock to 10:25 listening to my classes for my certification, right? Then I'm going to spend from this time to this time listening to that. All of us have classes and courses that we purchase. Let's be very clear that we could take the time to complete those. Let's make this the month of completion. Let's see, what is it that you have? Because what happens, Brian, is our brain, we need to declutter our minds. And in order to declutter our minds, we have to say, what all do I have on the table? What all do I have in front of me? What all do I have? And I'm thinking of because I'm doing getting ready to do a lot of mini workshop series for us. But what all do I have on the table? How do I really do a good brain dump to even set my goals? Yeah, I've reached goals, but now how do I dump my brain to reach that particular goals? What goal do I pick, in the first place? How do I declutter that? How do I time management, business, profit or passion. These are just different things that somebody told me. We talked about this past week. Money, all of these things. If you have the proper tools, then you'll be able to navigate and be able to get to the mastery part. One of the problems is because we're so cluttered. If this is anybody else, if I'm wrong, but we need to declutter our mind, declutter our intentions, declutter what we're going to do, declutter our workspace. Because what happens is when you don't do this, you can't get to mastery, because every time you sit down, you can't accomplish the next thing, the meat and bolts, the nuts and bolts, what's going to make you some money, because you're still thinking, oh yeah, I need to do this list. Oh yeah, I need to do this flyer. Oh yeah, I need to do this. And you're not getting to the working part of you work. You're not getting to the working part of you working. I am getting ready to take on and so that means you got to plan your day better, right? I got to plan my day better. That means you have to plan your day better. It starts there. Okay, when I get out of 5 a.m., what am I going to do? What can I do differently? That means you got to look at how do you spend your time during the day? What are you spending your time on? How many non-money generating activities are you participating in? Are you revamping things to the tune of, and I'm talking to me too, right? Because Tavis, you got a lot of stuff that you can package together and sell, package and sell, package and sell, package and sell, package and sell. What is that thing that's blocking that? And it could be that the spirit of perfectionist, it could be anything, right? But on today, Brian said, just spend 2 minutes doing it. If there's a closet that you bother with, spend 2 minutes doing it. You know, I'm Tavis Taylor talks in under 2 minutes. We need to have a spend 2 minutes. Spend 2 minutes on something that has been frustrating you. Well, I may not want to stop. I didn't say stop. I said spend 2 minutes. And if you set your clock to stop, then that means you're learning how to be disciplined and keeping your word to you. Brian, what do you think about that?
Nah, that's the thing. Like I said, it don't take a lot. It don't take a lot. Most of the time, most people overthink situations. So if we stop overthinking and just really start doing, because and I say this the same way with exercising. When somebody mentioned health and exercising, I always say, know what you do. Start off with 5 minutes. Say, I'm gonna walk for 5 minutes. And what's gonna happen is 5 minutes gonna pass so fast, you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? I could do another five. Let me do another five. And you done did 10. And then sometime you're gonna be like, oh man, that's 10, that's already. Golly, I'm gonna do five more and I'm done. And you might do 15 that day. But when you do it the next time, you're gonna be like, man, I did 15. So I'm gonna start off with 15. Because that went by pretty fast. So at least I got my 15 in, but when I do that 15, you'd be like, oh, I could easily do another five. And I've done 20 now. I've done 20 minutes. And so that's how you approach it, man. Because sometimes, like I said, we overthink everything. We try to go from 0 to 10, and I would challenge you today too is to change your thinking along those things. Like, don't overthink it. Yeah, don't overthink situations. Just get in and start. Sometime. A lot of times we not even starting stuff because we're overthinking. And that's something that I found out over the years that's really big for some people. Like, some people are just chronic overthinkers. And I know you can't just turn around like today if you're over, but just keep thinking about this conversation today. Whenever you start thinking about something. My problem, I'm totally the opposite. I'm not a thinker. I'm a doer. I'll jump out the plane and be like, oh snap, let me get a parachute. Let me find a parachute on the way down. Maybe somebody else is going down and I can get on a parachute with them. And so, but the thing that I've learned in life, it always works out. It always works out. So you just have to reflect back to this conversation, and when you start overthinking something, think back to this and say, you know what, let me just try. Let me just try. So that's the first step. Take those two things and say, let me get started. And I'm not going to basically go from 0 to 10 today. Just keep reflecting back to those two things. Like, let me get started, and I don't have to finish it today. I don't have to master it today. Just tell yourself that whenever you start having doubt about something, I don't have to complete it today. It don't have to be mastered today. Let me just do something. And the crazy thing about it is you feel much better. You have a sense of accomplishment, even if you did 5 minutes, like you, at least I did something. At least I did something. You have a sense of accomplishment. And whenever we have a sense of accomplishment, that becomes motivation. This is why that's important. But if you sit back and you overthink it and you thinking about the finish line and you thinking about all the time you don't have, then yeah, you're gonna continuously be discouraged because you ain't gonna never complete nothing. And when we don't complete things, we start to feel like failures. And when we start to feel like failures, we quit, we hide, we duck. So work on small victories. Work on small victories. And when I say small victories, that don't mean set the target low and hit them and think you've achieved something because the target is down the line. The progression to the target is what we're looking at. So we want nice, hefty, lofty targets that we want to hit, but we don't have to hit them on the first day. Does that make sense?
This is so good, Brian. Absolutely, it makes sense. This is really, really good. Anisha, is there anything you want to add to this portion of it?
No, I think what Brian said was really good about setting the goals and not setting it so low that you like, oh yeah, I can achieve that, and then you go on. But I like to call them stretch goals. Like, give me a goal that's not so little, but not so large that I can't achieve it, but it's a little bit. The goal is gonna make me, whew, okay, all right, I can do this. So that was good, Brian. This has got me motivated. I like to come in these rooms and put my thinking cap on, and so I got some takeaways from this conversation. So thank you so much, Brian and Dr. Tavis.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. I'm excited. In all honesty, I needed this conversation on today. I'm super excited about it and about just achieving these goals. And, because sometimes I can be an overachiever, have a lot going on, and still feel like I'm not accomplishing anything. And so I'm excited about this dialogue and also for the next conversation that we'll have concerning this, right? And yeah, tapping into that. Brian, what do you have coming up?
Uh, Well, tonight I'll be on at 6 o'clock, going live, just talking about a few different things, from tax stuff to just mindset development, a little bit of all of that. I do have, one of the things I got my real estate course coming up. I'm doing two classes with that. One is going to be on March 21st, and the other one is on the 24th. Well, no, let me get those dates right. And it's going to be a Zoom class. If you know anybody that's a real estate agent or in the real estate industry, definitely have them. And you can go to my page and see this. Well, I'm sorry, March 20th, which is a Wednesday night, and then Sunday, March 24th, basically. So I'll be doing those two different lives. I'm giving you two different options. So if you know of any real estate agents, anybody in the real estate industry that want to be a part of and really learn the ins and outs of real estate as a business and understanding the tax consequences, that's going to be a great class, man, because you're going to learn a lot. If you're in the real estate industry or you're looking to get in the real estate industry, you're in real estate school, or like I said, if you have people that so that's going to be big. We got different events coming up at the RB Solution Center. So go to the RB Solution Center page. We had a couple of great, some stuff coming up this month. And then I just want to prep y'all to lock the date, save the date. April 27th, I'm doing my scholarship gala, and I'll be doing scholarships for single parents as well as still doing what we do as far as helping financially, the financial literacy part. But now we're gonna actually start raising money for scholarships to help single parents who are in college, because that's, if you think about it, it's man, we got to reward that. If we got single parents that's in college, trying to get through college, trying to raise a kid by themselves, That's a heck of a feat, man. So whatever we can do to try to make it easier, part of this money will go to scholarships to help with tuition, books, but also tutoring. Also tutoring. I'm aligning myself with tutors, to help individuals so we can get ahead of the game. So April 27th, from 7 to 11, mark the dates. I'll give you guys information by next week as far as flyers, but it's actually invitation only. But like I'm doing is open it up at least people that I know that have circles that come in, and it's going to be a phenomenal event. So make sure that y'all stay close, get your gowns ready, um, get your husbands, your boyfriends, get their tuxedos. I'm trying to find a black-owned tuxedo shop, for anybody that have to rent a tuxedo or you to buy, we can support it with a black-owned. But you know, we got stuff, man. We got everything we need in our community. We got everything we need in our community. So let's make sure that we support each other. Let's make sure that we take care of us first. Let's make sure that we move forward, no 0 to 10, and let's get started.
Awesome sauce, awesome sauce. I know Dr. Stella perked up when she heard that. She's actually Adrian's tutor, Brian, so she definitely probably want to connect with you on if you have tutors that you're going to partner with. Um, but I'm excited about that and what you're doing, and I'm gonna be there. Let me go ahead and keep losing this weight. Me and my man. We're gonna be there. I ain't met him yet, Brian, but we'll be at the event. Listen, thank you so much, Ryan, for today. Today has been an amazing day. Mindset, money, mindset, and mastery. I got to figure out the language to go on the flyer with some new pictures and order that today. Because if I don't do it today, I'll forget. So I'm excited about that, Brian. And then what we're going to do, Brian, is once we get this flyer done, we'll get the language and we'll have the ladies post it on their social media platforms as well, so that we can grow this audience as we talk about money, mindset, and mastery. I am Dr. Tavis, here with my millionaire mentor and my mastermind mentee, Anisha, and we have given you so many tools and tips concerning money, mindset, and definitely mastery. What are you going to master? What does that look like for you? And what are you going to do next? One thing at a time, 2 minutes a day can change the trajectory of your entire life. Think about what you're thinking about and what are you listening to. I am your brain girl. I want you to retrain your reticular activating system so that what you filter in can start to filter out. So when you filter in this positivity, when you filter in the things that you want to master, when you constantly remind yourself that you are a winner and you know your craft and you're reading things as I'm reading about coaches and personalities and the brains and all of that, I'm going to attract more conversations, more speaking engagement. And guess what it's going to do for you, Makita? Guess what it's going to do for you, Michelle? It's going to enhance your self-esteem, your business self-esteem, your internal self-esteem, so that you will become the expert and become confident in who you are, who you've been called to be, and what you've been called to do. And then you're going to do what? Put a price tag on it, make more money in your sleep than you've ever made, and live a happy life. And we're going to do what? Travel, just like Brian, all over the country. Thank you so much, Ryan. I honor you. I honor your time. I think, as I do every week, this is the best room we've had so far. What do you think, Brian?
I always think it's crazy because I always think that every week is like, man, we crushed that. That's like that might be the best ever. So far, uh, no, and don't get me wrong, it was phenomenal. But I'm trying to think because I've had something like, bro, we dropped some knowledge, and I'm like, if people just pick this up and implement, oh, no, we gonna definitely change some lives. So it's up there. It's up there. I think it was short and impactful, but I would definitely put it in the top, maybe top three, because this one was more action based, teaching people how to achieve action, and that's really what we need first and foremost. So yeah, I would put it in the top three though.
Well, Brian, when I'm coaching, they're gonna say, and I did like Brian said. He told me to listen to 2 minutes, and I'm up to 20 minutes a day listening about XYZ 1, 2, 3 dots. So I will tell you, we do have some action takers in the room. I.e., I am an action taker as well. Let me just give y'all this tip that I would suggest you do. If you are whatever you decide that you're going to do, one of the things that I would suggest is that you take your phone and set an alarm in your phone for what you're supposed to be doing. And you can do that by measuring your day, measuring when you know you're in the car, measuring when you know you're here, and plus or minus some little hiccups that happen here or there. But most of the times we try to get out of the house by a certain time. We try to get, in the office by a certain time. We go to lunch at a certain time. We're very good. What do you call us? We're very good routine type people. So then guess what? Figure out what you're going to learn. And here's the thing. Not one time did he say you have to learn the same thing every day. So we can take the college module. You had a class on Monday and Wednesdays. You had a class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm going to learn XYZ. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are my days to do 1, 2, 3. Implement these, and I promise you, the month of March will be one of your most productive months. Get you a calendar and write it on the calendar. Write out your time and stick to it. And I promise you, by the end of the month, when I ask for, as a matter of fact, let me get up from my desk and write on the calendar to ask for a productivity. I think we can do it on the 26th we meet, Brian. We can do it on the meeting for the 26th with Brian. I'm going to ask for a productivity report. And me and Brian are included in this. We're not just saying this to you all, but a productivity report where you say, wait a second, and not only did I implement, but this is how I accomplished this. And this is where I am, in that I'm more comfortable now going live because I did XYZ 1, 2, 3. I'm more comfortable with doing whatever the case may be. So I'm excited about it. And we may start implementing this back into the 5 a.m. as well, because originally the 5 a.m. soaking session was 15 minutes, because we did it in 15 minutes increments, but really 20 minutes of learning something new in your craft. But we did 15 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of journaling, and 15 minutes of learning something new in your craft. Now, Robin Sharman does 20-20-20. That's 1 hour of your day where you can do 3 things that benefit you. Your body, get your body moving, right? So maybe we all need to buy kettlebells. So that first 15 minutes, we're doing our kettlebell swings, or the little weights you can sit in your chair, and they have a lot of little chair exercises you can do with your weights. And then for 20 minutes, you're journaling. What are your thoughts for the day? What are you putting in process for the day? And then the last 15 minutes, guess what? You're learning something new in your craft. If we implement that and go back to that module, Anisha, then guess what? We will have all of this covered. Definitely Monday through Friday. Definitely have it covered in that regard. And think about how far we're going to go. That's what the top 2 or 8% did. And that's how successful they are, because they command their day, and they command their day moving with action. Listen, thank you all so much for joining. Take these tools and tips and use them as you will. I'm going to implement. I'm also going to give my report on how I have been productive just by sitting aside that little time, and by saying on Monday and Wednesday, I'm going to focus on this. Tuesday and Thursdays, I'm going to focus on that. Even as I am laying the solid foundation for some projects, Monday and Wednesday is for this project. Tuesday and Thursday is only for that project. What that's going to help me do, as it will help you do, is to stop being scattered all over the place, and you quiet your mind and say, no, I'm not dealing with the Great Emerge right now. I am dealing with tailored connection, staffing, and training. And then I can be so focused in that one area or 2 areas. So I just want to offer that onto you. I think this has been an amazing room on today. Thank you all so much for joining. This room is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make it a great day. Bye.